Peace, everybody. Peace and love. It's your man, Manny Faces, and I'm back with a new venture that I hope you're going to enjoy. It's called Hip Hop Innovates with Manny Faces. Real quick, this is going to be a brief thing, couple minutes. I'm trying to bring them to you every weekday. Just little quick tidbits of information that I think are really exciting and innovative and informational and educational and all that jazz about hip hop music and culture, past, what's on the radio. Now, you guys might know me from my work with Birthplace Magazine. I founded in 2008, and for many years I covered hip-hop music and culture in and around New York City as an independent journalist and content creator. I took that to the podcast world with the New York Hip Hop Report, which I ran for several years, and then transitioned that to this video format, a little video escapade that you might have seen on Facebook for a while as well. In my recent work with the Center for Hip Hop Advocacy, which is the nonprofit I founded, that's mission is to increase public awareness and understanding of hip-hop music and culture. A lot of the work I do, writing or public speaking or going to conferences and such, has to do with, teaching the world a little bit about hip-hop that's, again, past what's on the radio, past the mere entertainment or what you might generally see through corporate channels. And some of that involves hip-hop being used in non-traditional ways. We see it a lot in education, in health and wellness, in science and technology, the fine arts, in politics and activism. I do some of that work as well with the Newsbeat podcast, which you might have know me from. And so what I'm trying to do is just kind of bring this information out to the masses in any way that I can. It's my mission. It's what I do. Part of what I do with the Center for Hip Hop Advocacy is I put out a curated e-newsletter. Goes out every week or two, basically a compilation of articles and tidbits from around the web that showcase, again, hip hop in these lights. Because I think that even some of us within hip hop culture have been unhappy with the direction that the music and the culture and how it's presented to the world in the past few years. So I'm not going to worry about discussing or diminishing or demeaning kind of today's hip hop so much from how it's looked at from a standpoint of music and what's on the radio and these things. There's plenty of people who do that. They do it well. I'm also not going to bring to you like the latest in this and the latest in that, all these drops in music and such. Again, other people do that well. What I do is a little bit different, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Stick with me. I'm going to try to drop these every day or so. You can reach out to me, as you see here, in all the social media channels. You can write to us at info@hiphopadvocacy.org if you'd like to, and tweet us at hiphopadvocacy or follow us on Facebook. I'm going to ask you to do that today, just to kind of get things started. We're on YouTube with this, so you can find us on YouTube, and it'll be linked. And as well, you can find us, I'll be dropping this on Facebook and LinkedIn, maybe snippets on Instagram. But Facebook and YouTube are the two places, so whichever your preferred area is. Now, what am I trying to do with this thing? I want to make sure that you know about all the interesting things that are happening in hip-hop. Again, outside of what's going on. So real quick, I'm going to give you one little tidbit to show you what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to encourage you to go sign up for the newsletter, because you'll get a lot of these kinds of stories. And they're great for just, like I say, feeling confident that hip hop isn't dead. There's a lot of great things happening in hip hop music and culture that people should be aware of. And particularly for sharing with people that maybe aren't as familiar with what we've got going on. I think all of that helps all the people and the organizations who are doing this work. It helps bolster what they do, gives them more credibility and gives them more awareness, which again is my job. So one of the kind of stories, this just came out, I just dropped today. I saw this today. It's kind of interesting. Of course, during Black History Month, you're going to find a lot of people and places talking about hip hop as part of Black history, as part of American history, which Black history is, of course. So you'll see that a lot. Tomorrow, I've got something interesting to show you about how a library near me has been doing this. It's going to be interesting to share with you as well. So I'll come back to these recurring themes often. But even though we need it more than just in February, as we do with all Black history, hip hop history is an integral part of the last 40 some odd years. And I like when places that don't normally pay attention to hip hop recognize that. Now, sometimes they do it wrong, and I've called out when they do it wrong. For instance, NPR did a piece once. Let me see if I can call it up for you here. NPR did a piece once where they actually anointed Frank Sinatra as the godfather of hip hop. That's not really true in any sense of the the idea of what a godfather is or what hip hop is all about. So you'll see that I wrote a piece once on hiphopadvocacy.org where I called out NPR for this ridiculous assertion. So I do these things when they're necessary, but what I really want to do is just kind of showcase things that are actually happening that put out a more positive or interesting way of looking at hip hop. Now, a lot of academics, a lot of hip hop ed heads may pay attention to this. A lot of conferences coming up. I definitely want to share that information with you. So if you're intrigued about that sort of thing, want to know about these academic conferences or some of these places where hip hop is discussed on a higher level, no double XL, this would be a place you could check for that information every day, every weekday at least. So today, one of those stories came up. It's out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is interesting because it's a place, just out in the Midwest, just chilling, just doing their thing. But they too have a history of hip hop. And I like when people take a local look at some of the things that are happening in hip hop, especially when it ties in to using it in education, using it as an alternative means to look at the world and have others look at the world. Because, of course, my impression of hip hop is that it really is sort of the way in which a lot of what's happening in the world is spoken about, a lot of times by people who don't normally have that many outlets to speak. So I like this story. I'm sharing it on Facebook, on our Hip Hop Advocacy Facebook page. I'm sharing it on Hip Hop Advocacy on Twitter, just so you see the kind of stuff I like to talk about. I encourage you to go check it out. I'll link to it. It's a nice NPR piece, right? It's a nice piece on public radio. Again, areas and audiences that might not normally be familiar with hip hop music and culture and all of its depth and brilliance. So I do like when that happens. I want to point it out to you guys. Take a listen to it. It's a quick listen, and you'll see the kind of stuff that I want to bring to light every day. Every day I'm going to have one or two pieces like this just to kind of put you onto something and then encourage you to continue looking. One of the ways you can continue looking, I make it easy, is I have the newsletter I talked about. This is the newsletter that goes out. It's called the Hip Hop Advocate. Goes out every week or two. I encourage you to sign up at hiphopadvocacy.org. Put in your email address. I'm not going to sell it, not going to give it to anybody, not going to send you Viagra coupons. But I do encourage you to check it out. As you can see, a great list of articles and tidbits from around the web. The problem with hip hop media is that hip hop media really likes to focus on, the journalism, quote unquote, that has to do with the music and the gossip and, the stuff and the Tekashi 69 situations and these kinds of things. And again, a lot of great outlets cover that stuff well. A lot don't. Won't go into it. But that you can get that elsewhere. What you can get from me at this wonderful newsletter is many stories like this about hip hop being used in great ways. Again, education, which this article today touches on, and just kind of the areas that you might not see it regularly represented. One other way to do this is I have another podcast which finished its first season. I encourage you to check it out if you listen to podcasts, and really if you don't. It's called Hip Hop Can Save America, interviews with innovators. As you can see, we've had several really interesting people from within the hip hop academic world, within the hip hop curation world and museums. We've had some artists, some teaching artists, people who are using hip hop in really inventive and innovative ways. First season's done. There's 11 episodes. You can check that out. hiphopcansaveamerica.com, hiphopadvocacy.org, or wherever you find your podcasts. So that I want to put you onto. Those two things are very important. They're an extension of what I'm doing here, and I think that is super interesting to get it out to as many people as possible. So listen if you like it, share it, rate it, review it, do all the things that we like. Lastly, what I want to do today, just as a kickoff, I'm establishing the format, as they say in radio, and I want to make sure that I have a couple things to share with you. Today will be my first Artist of the Day segment. All right, I do want to highlight certain artists and people who are kind of like artists who are doing innovative thing. Remember, hip hop innovates. Hashtag hip hop innovates. And this is one way that we see this happening. Again, we think that there's not a lot of artists that are doing substantive work in hip hop. And we're wrong when we think that. And people are wrong if that's their perception. So I'm trying to help spread the word. Today, my man, my mellow Silent Night. Now, I want to highlight him for a couple of reasons. He's out of New York, New Jersey, and he was a raucous 50 rap artist from back in the day. He's been in this game for a while, but continues to make really incredible music as a soloist. He also works with the band called Fuse, and what they've done is they have a monthly artist showcase, open jam session, ciphers go down. That happens in New York City. It's called The Lineup, currently on hiatus, so you're going to want to pay attention to that. If you haven't gone to them in the past 7 years, nothing lasts in New York music scene for 7 years unless it's super dope. So I do want to check that out and get familiar with Silent Night and the band called Fuse. I DJ for them occasionally, so a little bit of a disclaimer is necessary. I am one of the DJs. Shouts to DJ Hansi as well. Silent Night is great because he's not only an artist, but he's an activist. You see that he works with organizations like the Innocence Project, which works to get people exonerated from prison. A lot of what I do now is social activism oriented, especially through the Newsbeat podcast. You can find that at usnewsbeat.com. It's a really great mix of hardcore, hard-hitting, real serious journalism about social justice issues. And we mix it with music and we mix it with hip-hop artists. It's incredible. It's like Democracy Now! And Black Thought had a podcast, baby. So you want to check that out. Newsbeat is the podcast. Silent Night is one of the artists in residence. Shouts also to Liquid, who also is one of our artists in residence, and others that I've pulled from the independent music scene to drop verses about these incredibly important topics. Rebel Diaz has been on Newsbeat. We've had Rabbi Darkside. We've had Napoleon the Legend has dropped stuff. Osiris Anthem. So these are really incredible, thoughtful artists that put out really important, compelling perspectives when it comes to covering news. And we do it really well in usnewsbeat.com, Newsbeat, wherever you find your podcasts as well. A lot of information, but luckily you can rewind this and check it all out. Shouts to Silent Night. Do find him. That's Silent Night with a K, K-N-I-G-H-T. Find him on all the things. You'll find him all over the place. And you'll know him maybe best from Busy Is My Best Friend. Great joint, but he's done so much incredible work and music and with the band and otherwise. So my man for today, Silent Night, Artist of the Day. Who do you think I should big up as a substantive artist, someone who's dropping knowledge in their verses, a real different perspective? You know, we want to boost these and give these artists the spotlight. I got a bunch lined up, but if you want to let me know, hit us on Twitter at Hip Hop Advocacy, hashtag Hip Hop Innovates, or hashtag AOTD, Artist of the Day. Let me know who you think I should feature, and I will gladly do so, especially if I'm going to pull this off and do these kind of things for the rest of my natural life. Once again, thank you for checking it out. Again, just a few minutes, probably longer than I would normally go because I had to do the setup and the introduction and let people know who I am. Who's this guy? Why he come on, tell me about hip hop? What gives him the audacity? Well, you know, you could Google me too and find out. Find me at mannyfaces.com, or again, where is it? Over here. All the social medias. I'm around. So once again, thank you very much. This is Hip Hop Innovates with Manny Faces. I'll be here hopefully every weekday, give or take. And I expect to hear some comments and feedback. And I hope you dig what I'm doing. Hit me anytime, man. I'm around. All right. Peace.